in 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, welcome back to Core, where we talk about video games for core gamers. I hate that term, so I don't know why. I mean, that's literally the name of the show, so what are we going to do about it? There's nothing we can do. We'd have to burn it all down and start over. But it made sense when we transitioned from another kind of show to this show, so we're sticking with it, okay? Because we're hardcore!
We're gamers to the core.
Oh.
It's deep. The essence of us is core. That's
All
what we
right.
mean by core gamers.
Okay, there you go.
Core is all over video games.
There you go.
You can't name a video game that doesn't have a core in it.
Well, hold
Name
on.
one.
I bet I can. Super Mario Sunshine. Does that have a core in it?
Yeah, there's a core inside Flood, your cool little water pack. There's a core.
Right, that does have a core. Okay, this is a good game.
Oh, wow.
This is a good game. Okay, hold on. Is there a core in Panzer Dragoon?
I didn't play it, but I'm sure there's one in there.
Okay, so the rule is I can only mention games you've played.
Well, yeah, I don't want to speak as if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, Dark Souls 2.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a core?
But I didn't get to it because I'm not good enough.
I love it. You have plausible deniability to say, I didn't get far enough to see the core, but I know it's in there. I like
Right,
that.
yes.
All right, well done.
Well,
Anyway.
I mean, I'm sold on John's confidence. I mean, if he's lying, he passed his deception roll with flying colors.
Oh, yeah. Well done. It's got good stats for that. Anyway, we're here. It's launch week for a couple of major console releases, the Xbox Series X and S. And don't forget the little old PlayStation coming out tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, tomorrow. And big week for that sort of stuff. And also a weird week for that sort of stuff. We'll get into all that in a second. But first, this. Actually, we'll get right to it. Xbox Series X is here. Now what? What do you do now? You got it. I mean, mine's not here till tomorrow, but John got his today, right? You got it in the mail or something, or how did it work?
Yeah, came in a box, and they opened the door, and they were like, "Hey, confirm your name." And I did, and then they handed me a box, and then there was an Xbox Series X inside of it, and that was it. That was all there was to it.
Yeah.
Setup was pretty easy, except the Microsoft login servers were taking a beating that day, so
Makes sense.
there was a little wonkiness with logging into certain things. You know, a lot of watching the little spinning loop go.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I got it. It is not as big as I thought it was going to be. Maybe that's because people made it out to be huge, but it's it's a decent looking box. It's pretty darn quiet. It's nice.
What have you thrown at it? Have you thrown anything at it where you're like, man, this one existing game really should push things to the limit? Let's see these speedy load times or whatever. Like, what have you tried?
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
I spent most of yesterday messing with kind of the systems of it. You know, how's this work? Let's install this app. Let's install this. Let's look at our library. Let's half make an avatar because somehow that was still buried in the system somewhere, was an avatar creator, even though I don't see anywhere where that front face is at all anymore. So I don't know why it even is in there, but I found it and I messed with it.
Okay. You gonna share that with us? Do we get to see your avatar at some point? You gonna,
I could.
Okay.
But the problem is it's only half made right now.
Oh.
So it's not very good. It's got more hair than me.
Okay. So
That makes it not good.
So hair then.
The first thing about the Xbox, it has a very pleasant sign-on sound.
Oh, can you? You know what? Let's actually do this on the show. We can find this and play it. But what is it you find pleasing? What is it you like about it?
Well, there's two sounds. There's the boot screen, which is pretty good in the pantheon of boot screens. I think this is a strong one.
Yeah.
But also, there's just a nice little chime when you press the power button on the system.
All right. Here's the boot.
Like, does it
sound.
play from the TV or does it play from the system?
From the console.
From the console?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
Right.
interesting.
Here's the boot sound. Oh, that's interesting. There's one here that has every boot up sound since 01, but I'm not going to play all those. Let's just play the Xbox Series X boot screen and sound. So here we go. If I can get it to play. Come on now. Let's go, YouTube. What are we doing? Okay. Well, YouTube's having a little spinny spin. Normally I can count on it to just kick in, but for whatever reason it's just spinning here. So maybe this video got yanked. Okay, well, let's try this one. This one that has all of them I can skip around in. And wow, is YouTube down for anybody else? Or just me? YouTube is being
That video you shared, I couldn't get to work, so maybe YouTube's down.
Yeah, or maybe they're having
No
some
more
kinda...
YouTube. We canceled it tonight. This is the other big news. We're adding it right now.
Yeah,
YouTube's not working.
I went to YouTube and nothing's showing up on the videos.
Yeah, and I'm playing anything. Like here's a news video, not playing. I'm playing a Miles Morales video. Nothing's playing.
Oh.
Okay, well, damn it.
Yeah, no YouTube anymore.
That would have been fun to have on the show, but I won't make you, try to do an impression of it. But
I can try it. Here, hold on. I'm gonna turn it on. I don't know if my microphone will pick it up.
Okay.
I'll turn up my gain a little bit.
All
We'll
right,
see how it goes.
All right.
I don't think that picked up.
No.
Yeah,
I heard a blink.
Down detector has like a bunch more people reporting problems at YouTube right now.
Okay, so it isn't me or you or us. It's YouTube.
Yeah, the site is
good job,
experiencing
YouTube.
slowdown.
Well done. I'm sure it's no big deal for the billions of people who are looking at YouTube right now. I'm sure it's not a problem. Anyway,
it does a little happy ding when you press the button.
Yeah.
And then it does kind of a there you go.
So can you turn that off? Because let's say you're like everyone, let's say you have a spouse and you're like, okay, we need to go to bed, but you're like, you know what? I'm going to tiptoe downstairs and get a few more rounds of Mortal Kombat in. Now, when you press the power button, it's going to go ding, and you're going to hear, honey, I thought you were going to bed.
We just mute
the
thing.
For one, it's quiet.
Yeah.
And I suspect that if you turn it on via the controller, you don't hear the chime.
Oh.
I think it's only if you push the power button.
Oh, that's interesting. Wonder why
Yeah.
That's actually a little weird. Why would they make that different and have two different ways?
Want to please you if you go all the way up to the console and push a button.
It really shows
They're
your
like,
commitment.
here's a reward for your willingness
getting
to
up
be
off
mobile.
the couch.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's kind of cool. Boy, this is really a week for cool startup sounds. Even one of the things notable about Apple's announcement this week is they brought back the bong sound that starts when you open a Mac up, which they haven't done in a long time. And I guess the Sony one is supposed to be pretty cool too, and kind of reminiscent of previous iterations of the Sony boot up sound. So I'm all about dumb stuff like that.
As long as it's not like the PS3, that has to be my least favorite boot up sound ever.
I was gonna say I'll play it on YouTube, but YouTube is down.
Yeah,
so I can't tell.
The PS3 one was the tuning up the orchestra. It just felt so pompous.
Yeah,
it was just like, listen, you're not booting up a simple video game console. This is an orchestra. We're bringing you quality. And you're just like, okay, Sony, pull your head out your ass. You're a video game console. You're going to play Sonic the Hedgehog.
Well, which was the one
this isn't art.
Which was the one that boot ups actually showed unlocked stuff? Is that PS2? Where, what was that? Where if you did so much in games, it wasn't quite like trophies, because trophies came later with PS3, but during the PS2 era, if you had done a whole bunch of, maybe it was time spent in games or time spent on the console or something, but it would...
I know the PS2 had these towers in the background, and the towers, I believe, reflected the memory that was on your memory card.
Oh,
I think that was it.
That's different then.
Yeah,
maybe that's right. In my head, it was more like, oh no, it tells you how well you're doing, but that's not what that is.
The GameCube, if you held the Z button, it squeaked. It went.
Really?
Yeah.
What, instead of that bang, instead of that?
Yeah, it did the same thing, except it was very high pitched and squeaky.
Wow. All right.
This is our most YouTube necessary conversation we've ever had at the exact moment YouTube is down.
It's pretty stupid. All right, so we'll be past that though. The setup was easy when the servers let you in. Any other major impressions here? I know that here, a reminder, outside of third-party titles, Microsoft doesn't have a ton of, they don't really have any first-party launch games. It was supposed to be Halo Infinite, and that got delayed. So their game is all about, here's this awesome new piece of hardware that you can run all your old games on. You can run Game Pass and a million awesome, real rad games on there, but none of them are brand new, exploit every possibility the machine has. Whereas, you could argue Sony's got a little bit of a leg up in that regard because Miles Morales tends to be more of a system, showing off that system's capabilities a little bit more, and it's a first party effort. But also beyond that, they don't have a ton. They got that built-in thing that shows off the controller and some other stuff. Both consoles are kind of naked in a weird way. How did all that feel? Because usually the whole fun is, I've got this and Soul Calibur or whatever it is, right? But not this time.
There was definitely a feeling of, okay, I have my brand new console.
Yep.
It's there. I want to play something that's going to make me go, new console, and feel, like very emboldened and like, look at this. The future is now. The future's here, and I'm a part of it. And didn't exist. I ended up buying Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the Xbox Series X, despite the fact that it would probably run better and look better on my PC, just because I wanted to have something that was going to be a next gen type experience. And so I bought that. But despite not having a marquee game, the thing that was cool that made me very quickly forget it and go, oh, but this is neat, is the amount of games I had when I signed in.
Yeah.
Because you sign in and sure, there's nothing installed currently on the system, but it goes, hey, check your library. You currently have, and I think it was something like 69 games currently unlocked. And I went, that's a lot of games for day one.
Nice.
Pulled it up. Sure enough, games I bought through Xbox Live, original Xbox games, Xbox One games, all already in my library, ready to be installed.
Wait, with my Xbox 360 games that I bought a long time ago, and these like Peggle, I still got my Peggle.
Yeah,
Peggle was on there.
Yep.
Oh,
so
okay, that's nice. That's a nice thing.
What if you changed your login though? That's what I'm worried about. Is what if I change my login somewhere between the 360 era and now? Well, it won't track all my old stuff.
There is a way to add multiple logins, I believe, through Microsoft. I don't want to say for sure, but because I didn't have to do that, but there is a way.
Consolidation option too. Sometimes, you know what I mean. Sometimes they have that.
Yeah, I saw some stuff. I think I actually saw it on the PC version of the app where it was like, "Do you want to join Microsoft stores?" And you could put in multiple logins in their storefront, and I think it would then reflect all of them.
Interesting.
But it was a big library of games, and I looked through, and there's Mass Effect, and there's Viva Pinata, and there's just the rare replay collection. So all of a sudden there's a bunch of stuff. There's the original Xbox version of Psychonauts on there.
Oh wow.
Complete with the original Xbox boot screen when you load it up, because I tried that today. And they all mark, this is a 360 game, this is a Xbox One game, this is a thing that's enhanced by the Series X or the Series S. And it was really cool. And then right below that, here's your Xbox, what is it? Now I'm like, Bo, I can't think of it.
Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah.
Here's your Game Pass library.
Yeah.
And it just says something like 100+ games. You pull that up, you got a whole store of games there that you can go through and you can look at. And then below that, it says, here's EA Play.
Oh,
you
right,
select
it's
that.
included now. Right.
Here's all of EA's titles just hanging out, chilling, ready to be downloaded. Yeah. So I went from having almost nothing to play on this console when I first got it. Oh, and then below that is Xbox Games with Gold, because every month they give about 3 games away for free.
Right.
So I logged in. I was like, oh my gosh, I have this insanely big library. And I downloaded the Rare Replay collection, and I downloaded Psychonauts because I wanted to see what an original Xbox game looked like on it. I downloaded Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I got all my entertainment apps on there so I can pull up Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that stuff. And, it went from this console that had nothing on it to all of a sudden, I just felt like it was stocked.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to have anything on it that's going to make you go, oh my gosh, this is the future. Look at the graphics. It's amazing. You will go in, especially if you've been in their infrastructure at some point, and go, oh man, look at this library stuff. that I can play.
Look at all these games I have immediately. Even if all you ever did, or even if all you do is buy this new and you haven't never had an Xbox and you sign up for Game Pass, you're immediately in a deluge of video games to play. Now, whether all those are exactly the games you want at this very moment, I don't know. But it's that's what that thing is. I mean, basically what that thing is what PC players have been doing forever, which is, hey, I got an old game I bought in 2004. It still runs on my PC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's this consoleized version. And there are, we always talk about this. These are PCs really at their core anyway. But like architecturally, we're saying, hey, also all this stuff you've had previously, it all runs like on a PC. Everything you've had for years runs. I'm not worried about running Skyrim on my PC. It's not like my PC is going to go, oh, sorry, this is a very old game. It's not compatible. Like, it's stayed compatible, and that's what they're doing here, which I think is really, really smart, and it gives them a little bit of an edge on Sony, where there is some backwards compatibility, but there are a lot that aren't, and a lot of problems with those that aren't, from what I'm hearing. And some of that will get worked out in the end, but it's not quite the same. So it's you're basically running up against, I think, one of the selling points of the Xbox right there. For me anyway, that's why I'm getting
kind of incredible what's in that store. I mean, just looking through the store, you go through and it's like, do you want to play Final Fantasy VII? It's in the Game Pass store. If you want to play Final Fantasy VII on your new Xbox Series X, there it is.
Yep.
It's not the remake, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But
Final Fantasy 15 is, for example, if I wanted to go play 15, I totally could, and it would be cross play, cross saves, and everything with my PC version, all that.
Speaking of, there was another game I picked up because I thought, well, I want to give this a full test. Let's do the whole thing. And I saw it sitting in Steam, and I didn't think a thing would get me to do this, where I had the option to buy it in Steam or the option to buy it somewhere else. But I bought Yakuza Like a Dragon through the PC Microsoft Store.
Yeah.
Because I got it, I downloaded it on my PC, and then I booted up my Xbox Series X, and I downloaded it on my Series X. No additional cost, no charge. I just now can play that game on my computer or the Series X, whichever I prefer. That's
pretty cool.
Super cool.
Yeah, that's super
cool.
How
much storage you have?
It's a terabyte,
it's like,
I believe.
Okay,
terabyte, but I think good. usable storage is something, because there's a lot of the OS on there, so I think you're probably around 850 or 900, something like that. You're probably losing.
Can I also ask you? Does it have like all the usual stuff, like the Netflix apps and all the YouTube stuff and all that? Yeah, I think I might get one for my mom. I mean, like, because if your use case is you're sitting on the couch and the controller works and you're using it for all kinds of things, it's a one-stop shop box. Mm-hmm. Like, if you have all your streaming services and games, like, my mom will play one on occasion. She doesn't have one, but she has her favorites.
Sure.
Certainly, being a cheap option, she can use it for mostly TV.
How does she feel about the Sims? She like the Sims at all? Is that a thing?
No, my sister's the Sims head. My sister loves the Sims. She's super
that's now
into
included.
Sims 4.
Sims 4 and all of its expansions are part of EA Play, which is now part of Game Pass Ultimate, which means they're on there. Which is
my mom's more of a Dr. Mario kind of gal.
Yeah, I like Dr. Mario.
Yeah. We still talk about Dr. Mario and Bomberman and stuff.
Oh,
it's hard. Super Bomberman 64. Super Bomberman for the 4-player adapter for the NES. Greatest game of all time.
It might be, it might be the best time I ever had with more people than me on a console back in the day. Used to love that.
Best local 4-player game for sheer like fun, like just yelling at each other but laughing and having a great time. I
mean, if it were me and I was your mom, I'd probably get the S, because same capabilities, a little smaller storage. Not 4K, but everything else is there. And the kind of gamer she is, she could just download stuff and play it. And then if she wanted to add more and there was not enough room, it's all in the cloud anyway. Or just play it on xCloud. xCloud's the other part of this.
I mean, I've been surviving on 120 gig solid state. Everything's 80 gigs. Like, I play one game at a time, and because I have gigabit internet, it's down in 10 minutes. It's not a big deal anymore. So
yeah, interesting. Yeah.
But it's appealing. I'm almost thinking like, if the price is right, I'd just have an Xbox kicking around like that. It sounds pretty awesome for low barrier of entry, and if it's got all the other stuff, I don't know. Like, it sounds like a good. I think the use case for the Xbox is that it's designed with the controller in mind, and a PC is designed with every other peripheral under the sun. You know, your Wacom's and your keyboard, mouse, all that other crap. But like, they perfect all the apps to work with like the controller, right? So and that fits that couch sitting style. So I don't have something like that. So I'm like, the amount you've described, I'm like, I want one. I think I want to get my mom one too.
In addition to that, they encourage downloading the app for the setup process, and the app can act as a remote to your Series X.
Your phone.
So yeah, if I have my phone and I pull up the Xbox app on it, right now the Series X is turned on, I can turn it off. I can just say, okay, I want to power this thing off. And if I want to use my phone as a controller, I can certainly do that as well. The other big thing, I tested out the streaming to your phone, and it works really, really well.
Oh, really?
So your profile is actually stored inside your controller. So they actually have some form of onboard memory or assign a profile to a controller. It's probably not actually a memory in the controller so much as it recognizes like a code or something like that.
MAC
but
address or something.
It knows that when I turn on that controller, it is my Xbox profile that's signing into it. So if I take my phone and I take my controller, or any device that can have the app on it, I can start streaming to that device from my Series X where it's hooked up. And I can just control it, and I can just play as if I was in the room playing it.
That's great. I love that.
It works solid.
Let me ask you about this. Did you try and do that quick resume stuff? Because that's if there is one thing this particular device will do that a PC won't currently, not that it couldn't, but they don't. There's not an OS click for this, but is the quick resume feature, which means that you could be in the middle of 15 different games, playing them all. You're playing like I play video games, like just a lot of stuff at once, trying new things here and there. You don't have to shut down another game. You just launch the new one, play it to a point, and then you basically put it in like, it's almost like shutting your DS. It just sort of save states everything. And then you hop back over to the game you were already playing, and it quick resumes right where you were before. No big long boot ups, no waiting for logos to finish. Like none of that. The first time you boot the game, sure, you got to watch that stuff. But after that, my understanding is quick resume, starting to sound funny, across the whole myriad of those games. Have you played with that at all? Because that's a huge thing for me.
I have. I think I might even be able to show it to you while we're showing off all these features here. Let me do this. Let me pull up my phone here where I am playing the game. Ooh, maybe not.
Maybe not. It was.
Apparently
I saw it for a
lost
second.
The connection.
I saw it for a hot second.
I might be trying to push my luck here with.
Oh wait, there's a message coming from your mom in there. She says you left your underwear back at her house when you stayed over.
That'd be awesome. So, we caught some text like that.
Here we go. We got Valhalla playing, right?
Yeah, I did the guy. You did the lady. That makes sense to me. Okay. Got it.
Let's go to. All right, so it's playing my games and apps. Sorry, this is.
What phone is this?
Trying to show you and select it at the same time.
What phone are you on there? What phone is it?
It's an Android.
It's an Android phone.
So let's switch to Star Wars, which I was playing earlier.
All right.
There's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I may have closed this.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It might not do. Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Now I'm playing Star Wars.
Oh, weird.
Okay, so playing Star Wars. Now, whoops. Let's go back to. Does that say Valhalla or is Valhalla the next one down?
I can't see it. Oh, I think that's it. Yeah. Oh my gosh! It just jumped right back in. You hit play and you're in.
So we hit Valhalla. Now it's loading, and we're playing.
And you're back
Valhalla
to where you were.
And I'm doing this on my phone, by the way.
That's
so
nuts.
It's streaming to my phone right now.
See, that's a thing. That's a feature I wish PCs had. I wish Steam had a way or something to say, "Oh, you've suspended one game, but we're going to play this other," and that means all resources are being thrown at the game you want to be playing right now, but we're going to remember where you were in these other intensive games, and being able to switch back and forth like that, that feels like magic to me. That's really, really cool. So I'm excited because mine gets here tomorrow. It's a long story why mine's a day late or 2 days late, but I get mine tomorrow, and that's one of the things I wanted to hear about. So I'm glad to hear that works. And the fact that you could just demo it for us on a freaking phone on your screen is nuts. That's nuts.
I know. And that's quick. So I mean, that took what, maybe 10 seconds to swap between games, and I was able to play both.
Yeah.
So
A whole lot less time than it takes
really,
to
really fast
launch another game or whatever, right?
How much you guys pay for it in the States? What's the price?
$4.99 here for the S or X rather. The S is $2.99, right? $2.99.
I'm doing the payment plan, so $35 a month, but that also includes my ultimate subscription.
Yep. In the end, he'll pay less than $4.99. You'll pay $3.40 or something like that, because the way it amortizes out to the 24 months, it's actually less because there's no interest. It's less than buying it at launch just for the console and then buying Ultimate connected to it.
Okay.
I just think there's a real value in it, and I think the S is going to be a great value for a lot of people. I think that one's probably, I mean, Phil Spencer said their expectation is in the long tail, there'll be more S's out there than X's. Because that would just appeal to a big, broad range of gamers like Bo's mom. Like that will make sense to a lot of people to be their media box, to be a game machine when they want to play a few games, and having a service where they can just download stuff at will, synchronize or play over the cloud. Like all of those things are going to be really palatable at $2.99 or the monthly thing. Which, by the way, Sony's not offering that. They're not doing that because they don't have the kind of financing pockets Microsoft does. To be able to pull off something like a 24-month paydown. That's another big advantage for this. Now, I'm not just here shilling for this Xbox. I just think these are really valuable. These are value adds that I think are going to push a lot of people toward that device. It's still hard, though, to say that, oh, yeah, on launch day, there's no Halo game. There's no gigantic first-party game to blow all our minds. But Sony's got one. It may not blow all our minds. It's a lot like the last Spider-Man game, but it does look great.
Yeah.
But so they,
it's
at least
a showcase.
Yeah, it's a showcase.
Which Microsoft doesn't have.
But it's also a $70 showcase on top of your $5.99 or $4.99. So there's all this like weighing. You're going to have to weigh your options out there, but make sure you understand how it works across the board. And there are going to be some people who are like, look, I buy like 2 games a year and I love Sony exclusives. And I would say to that person, oh my gosh, don't get anything but that PlayStation. Just get that because you're going to be happy. Yeah. Do it. You're going to find people like me who are like, I love playing a million games and I like being introduced to weird stuff I didn't even know was coming out. That's why I love Steam. That's why I love some things on the Epic Store. I like to be able to find weird indies out of nowhere, and those show up on Game Pass all the time. And so that combined with AAA stuff, combined with EA Play, combined with first-party Microsoft stuff that's coming down the pipe, that is more my ecosystem for how I play video games. So to me, it's kind of a no-brainer, even though I love Sony and have in the past. Didn't even own an Xbox One. Yeah. So
I did for a couple months. I think I bought 2 games for it, and then I said, "This isn't getting any use."
Did you
and
sell
then it? Was just PS4 after that. Yeah,
you did sell it.
Back.
Okay, interesting. Oh, I sold you guys. I sold my. I can't believe I did this. I sold my my Steam controller this week.
Oh,
because I was
someone bought that.
I was screwing around on eBay, and I just thought, well, I gotta just test a few of these. I have a new account on eBay. I haven't used eBay in like 8 years, so there's so much new stuff, and it's all different. And I thought, well, I want to get rid of a few things. Why don't I just try a couple of tests or whatever? And one of them was my Steam controller, and because I never use it, I hate it, I can't stand it, and I think I paid. What? Remember the Steam Link? You get the Steam Link and a controller for like $5. Remember that sale?
Yeah. Yeah, it was ridiculous. They were basically giving it away, and I still went, nah.
Yeah, you said most people still passed on it, but I did it and got that thing, the whole combo for $5. I sold the controller by itself for $28 on eBay and shipped it out this week. So that was a fun little experiment. But yeah, we'll see. I actually have a Battle for Azeroth unopened collector's edition that I'm trying to sell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, wow. It's on there till Saturday. So you can take like early bids and things if you want. Like it's basically a buyout price. A little bit different. They make an offer basically, and that's what I did with that controller and a router I sold. But I'll probably get a couple $100 on that BFA thing, and I'll probably give it to charity or something because, why not? But anyway, so I just thought I would share that little story about that controller. It's not here anymore. Goodbye, Steam controller, you dumb disc. Freaking effing piece of shit thing. I hate that.
That's how bad that Steam controller is, by the way. Sorry for the guy who bought it if he's listening or she's listening. But like But like Scott loves controllers. For him to purr with the
do.
controller it's not a good sign.
No, you should see behind me right back here. I can't reach
It's sold now. We can see.
Within reach, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different kinds of controllers over there. Not all first brand. Some are first party. The one hooked to my PC I'm playing Valhalla with right now is this third party Chinese knockoff 360 controller that I really like, actually. So I'm a fan of like finding controllers and liking them and keeping them forever. But that Steam controller,
sweet. I wish I had more. Like I wish I did what you did, because I like controllers too.
Yeah, it's just
like I see them in the store and I touch them, I press all the buttons. I'm like, I should buy this, and I'm like, I don't need it. But then I live a life of regret without controllers in it.
Well,
and,
weren't we playing Rocket League for a while, and you were playing keyboard and
mouse on keyboard?
Oh yeah,
I'm such a doofus.
But you were pretty good. You were all right.
I'm good with the mouse and keyboard, but like sometimes I'm stubborn.
Yeah, no, I understand. I totally do.
Speaking of, the new controller's pretty good.
Oh yeah, let's see that. So the big change visually is you now have a share button, right?
The share button. Really? They changed the D-pad to be a more disky thing.
Yeah.
Do you not think this controller is better than that controller? Like,
what do you mean?
I definitely don't think that controller is better than this.
Really? Eh?
Are you? Wait, hold on, Bo. Are you saying visually though?
Yeah, visually, like this one looks more sexy than that one.
Well,
that one looks more flat. Like it looks more. It just has less detail on it, and it looks more like clean. And I guess maybe it's just an aesthetic thing.
One if you wanna.
That one's a little sexier.
Ratchet it up.
I probably just mixed. I like the big Xbox button. Do you have a big Xbox button?
Yeah. Isn't there a
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Maybe that's fine.
It's just black.
Wait. Oh, okay.
This is faded in, but it lights up. They didn't change a ton. The controller, the grips, and the triggers feel a lot better on this, as do the sticks.
Oh, good.
That's kind of beyond just adding buttons or changing buttons. That's really the only thing.
I didn't mean to be so judgy about your controller, John.
No, it's fine.
How is it? How are the haptics on it? Are the haptics any good, or are they just kind of what you used to? Or
I haven't played anything that really did much. It's got a good rumble to it. Like there was a game that gave me a good jolt, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a rumble that'll get your attention in the morning." Like that's solid,
right?
But nothing, no tension in the sticks and anything that I've played, like pulling down the trigger, nothing like that. It's just, it feels like if you use the Xbox One controller, it feels like a better version of that.
Okay,
so.
I'm down with that.
It's a baby step up, but it feels better. So if you liked the original, this is a better controller than that. I still think the PS4, while we're just showing controllers to the camera, I still think PS4 controller is still probably my favorite controller. Yeah. But this one's pretty solid.
Yeah, I like the Xbox One controller by quite a bit. But the only thing I didn't like about it is I couldn't get a wired one. And for PC stuff, I just prefer wired. I know that makes me weird, but I like wired. I don't like the wireless. I just can sense, even if I can't sense it, I know that there's lag there, and I hate it. I hate that feeling.
No, I do the same thing. I got this giant freaking cord next to me while continuing the slideshow here.
Yeah.
It's this massive cord that I plug into my Xbox controllers and PlayStation controllers so that I can have a hardwired controller.
Yeah, see, that's the same. Maybe we're not alone in this. Maybe that's more common than I think. I know it's convenient.
I do wireless on my PC.
Well, and that's the other thing.
It's always got to be different. I'm sorry.
The 360 version never had a good. Whoops! I just woke my PC up. I'm very clumsy today. But the 360 controller had no way, unless you had that weird dongle or whatever, to do wired or something. I don't remember what the deal was. But then the Xbox One, you could wire it, but it was just through the charge hole, which means that could fall out.
I have the 360. It had this. Do you see this socket?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, okay. It had that. So you put it had a big and you have to put it into the.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, let me ask you this, John. Does it have batteries or built-in batteries? How's that go?
It has takes AA batteries, or you can plug it in if you wanna plug it in. That's an option too.
All right.
And it's kind of the same way it worked with the 360. You can put batteries in that thing if you want to go off battery life, or you can plug it in if you don't.
And they'll probably sell battery packs like they did with those other two. So, okay, then the only other battery question I have, or the charger question is, or rather cable, is that mini USB? Is it USB-C? Like what connector is that thing?
It is I believe it's the exact same one as the Xbox One. Let me check.
If it's micro USB, then that's less great than if it was USB-C. But I'm not going to complain because that's almost everything uses that, so it's not a big deal. Is it USB-C? Is it not, Jim? Jim in the chat says it's USB-C. That's great news if that's true.
Yep, it's a USB-C.
Oh.
It's different.
That means it only goes in, it goes in any way you want it to go in because it doesn't matter if it's upside down or not. You just, and it's just
Scott, also means I have to buy another cable.
Yeah, that's true. But I have tons. I have USB-C cables coming out of my ass over here. I've got, switch cables, big $4 one I bought on Monoprice that charges my iPad when I need a longer one. USB-C is an amazing freaking format, and they should never change it again. That makes me very happy. I do
agree. I've broken so many cables that connect to the controller the old style. It's awful.
Yeah, micro USB, which is what the old style was, is designed to snap by devils and angry men. It's a horrible design.
And breathing on it too, apparently, because I had some that lasted weeks.
Yeah.
So
they're garbage.
It's bad. So I welcome the new cable, even though now I have to buy one.
They're pretty cheap. They're not bad anymore, and you can get long ones too, which is nice. By the way, somebody found a Reddit link where the actual sound is, so I'm going to play this because YouTube never worked. So let's just see how this goes. Oh, whoops. Okay, nothing happened. Okay, here we go.
Oh, was that the beep?
I don't know. Let's see.
Beep.
That's it. Just beep beep. Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, just a little beep. No, but that's the sound the button makes.
Oh, let's see if YouTube's up again. YouTube might be up. Nope. YouTube's having a real hard time today. All right. Well, interesting. I'm actually pretty chuffed about all your reports because I know I'm not getting a machine with new games on it. I know that.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting hardware that's ready for the future of what that hardware can do in terms of ray tracing and UHD, 4K, blah, 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 all this, all the big innovations there, the faster load times. Although I guess faster load times are evident in whatever you're playing. And I'd argue, I could be wrong, I guess it depends on your TV, but you're getting just as good an experience out of Valhalla as I'm getting on the PC, I'm sure. Like that
Probably. I'm using it on my ultra-wide monitor. I'm being stingy. I don't want the kids around it yet, so it's hooked up in the office, not in the living room. It'll look a lot better when I put it out in the public area, but right now it is just for...
So wait, they don't know they have an new Xbox in the house?
No, they know it, but I told them what was mostly true, and I said, there's nothing on it right now that you're interested in. Don't worry about it. Go play your games that you don't play on the PS4.
I love it, dude. I love it. Perfect. You know what's a plausible deniability good story? It's good.
It's true. It's just Xbox Game Pass. It's available everywhere in the house.
Yeah.
Well, and then it got, so here's the funny thing, and honestly, this is a bit of a true review for the console. They then proceeded to ask for it for Christmas, and like the great parent-child chess match, like, okay, you're not gonna let me play your Series X? I want one for Christmas. And I said, okay, you want one for Christmas? Why do you want it? And there was a long delay, and I got told so we could play Oblivion because they have a 360 in their room.
Yeah.
So we can play Oblivion. I said, you have a 360. You can play Oblivion on that.
Yeah.
So we can watch YouTube. You're not allowed to watch YouTube except YouTube Kids. So no, that's just a loophole you're looking for.
Right.
What else?
Right.
So I can tell my friends that I have one. And I said, I appreciate the honesty. You can tell your friends you have one. There's one in your household. Go tell your friends and get all the bragging points you want.
I love this.
Just leave out the part where you're not allowed to play it.
Yeah.
You're not allowed. So
I love it. You're doing it right.
We've got an answer for everything so far, but the day will come where there's something on there that they want, and then it will need to move out to the living room.
It's something that occurred to me, which, again, feeling a little introspective about this and all over the place emotionally about it, but this is the first console generation where I don't have young kids at home. So even 2013's launch, I had I had two kids in high school and one in junior high still. perfect age to get a new console. Hey, check it out. Bring your friends over. We got a new console under the TV, right? So PS4, Xbox One era was Happy Times, Good Times USA, and all other generations leading all the way back to, I guess, maybe Sega Saturn and PS1 was the first generation where my kids were tiny. And so every generation I've had kids around to like gather around the TV and fire up the new console when it came out. Not this time. This would be me.
That's so generous of you. I just hoard it to myself like a dragon. But that's because I know that's because I know that if I let them touch it, it's going to come back looking like the inside of walls from the Alien movies after the xenomorphs go through. Like, children just touch things and it becomes sticky and slimy. And I'm like, you know what? I could use a couple months of this controller feeling new.
No, I agree with you. Before there's food in it, or someone spilled a Coke on it, or
right before there's a tearing sound when I let go with my hand.
Right, like I have it's not in here. I wish I had it because I'd show you guys. But the PS4 controllers I bought at launch, they don't even have rubber on the sticks anymore. Like, my son played so much like Call of Duty, whatever version, and a million other things on that thing, that the controllers are just rubber thrash. It's just horrendous. And I'm actually kind of thinking, oh, you know what? This thing's going to stay kind of in pristine condition. Not that I won't ever truck it out for everybody to use or whatever, but 90% of the time I'll be in here with it, streaming with it, messing with it. I might take it upstairs, but even then it's me and Kim. Like, if we make it our media center, which we may do, there's nobody going to be using that controller. Not yet anyway. Van's only a year and a half. So, when he gets older, maybe, but yeah, I'm in a weird little window here where I'm like college guy living at home with his girlfriend, and nobody's touching my controller but me.
Welcome back. Welcome to my life. I never got married, never had kids. This is my I'm in a permanent state of childhood.
Right.
It's amazing.
And it's pretty good, Bo, because if you spill Coke on something, it's okay because you did it. There's no one to blame. You don't have, you don't
even have to clean it up. Like, I broke my lava lamp the other day and I glittered and goop from inside, and I was like, I think I'm supposed to clean this up in like maybe 10 minutes. And I went for a walk, and then I came back and I did it later.
Oh, man. I don't know.
It's great.
Yeah. I'm having nostalgia, though, because I do miss those days. It's like, oh, the Wii. We got the Wii. Everybody's freaking around. And, Nick's 6 years old going, I want to play it. Like, I miss that. That was fun. So now it'll just be me going, Game Pass.
Yeah, I can see, like, I do miss those days when I was young and I went nuts, but I haven't had any children to share that with.
Yeah,
so.
I guess I
imagine it's a really nice feeling.
Oh yeah, I don't deny. Look, ripped controllers, Coke spilled. Why is this Pop-Tart in the PS1 drive? Those sorts of things. They were irritating at the time, but I wouldn't trade them. Because now they're good stories, and I really liked having my kids around. So
yeah, and they were meant to be used.
Right.
Your house you live in a house, not a museum. So
there you go.
It's better that things are used and not pristine.
That's funny. My mom used to say, or my dad used to say that it's a house, not a museum, and my mom would get mad at him.
Well, it depends on the personality type. I had a dad who treated the house like a museum. He was pretty bastardly about it. So. Now that I'm on my own, I'm like, it's not a museum, it's a house. Things get dirty, just clean it, keep it tidy, but your things are going to get used, your tools are going to get scuffed. If you're a carpenter, your table saw is going to get chips and scuffs in it and all that kind of business. That's character.
Yeah.
Sorry.
This is the way.
I'm getting old, man, on everyone here. Tools aren't really tools until they've seen use.
Yeah, that's right.
For tens and dozens of years.
But my dad was pretty weird about, like, at one time when I was very young, we had an Apple IIe or something, and he had just gotten it. And back then, home computers were very expensive. And like today, you can go get some pretty cheap stuff and have it do some pretty crazy things. But back then, just a basic setup from Apple or IBM or anyone else that was making these little home computers, you were going to pay like $4,000 for those things. Like, they were expensive. So for him to do that back then was this major purchase. And he bought with it some paddles that were for games that you could play on the Apple II. But he never let us use the paddles, ever. And he didn't either. And I remember being young and going, Dad.
I was with you, and then you lost me.
Well, that's why I would say, like, Dad, why did we buy these paddles if we're never going to play any games? well, maybe once in a while we will, but we're not going to do it right now because these will just wear out. And also, don't be pounding on that keyboard too much. The keyboard will wear out. Like, he was so worried about the keyboard. There were no mice, but the keyboard or any other kind of input devices getting worn out, regardless of who was using it. Almost like it was like a limited inventory of clicks. Like,
see, that's me. I relate to that statement.
Yeah, but probably not as much today as like 20 years or 30 years ago.
Yeah. Relate to that statement.
Yeah.
I'm like, we own plates. I do dishes every night. You do not need to smash chips into your face over the table and placemat. Like, put a plate down.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
I'm definitely the like, there can be order in this chaos. The little chaos is good, but there can also be order. It's
John's not going to like it when he visits my house one of these days.
Oh,
if you like order, I'm like, there's lots of chips on the floor. That's where they belong. Not you wipe them off the counter and they go on the floor, and eventually you sweep them.
I thought I was a messy person. I genuinely thought I was, and I am to some degree. Like, this office isn't in a great state, but I had a friend come over one time, and this is when I learned that I have maybe some issues. I had a friend come over, and he was eating a bowl of cereal, and he got done with the cereal part, so he had just a bowl of milk and, you know, some cereal pieces, and he set it on my bedroom floor and walked away, and I just went, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's a sign that maybe, you know.
And then I realized.
Well, you'll always have nice stuff, John. That's the way to look at it. You're going to take good care of what you got. You value the money and the time that was spent. You understand what that means. There's nothing wrong with any of that. But as Dwight Schrute in the chat says, not the famous television Dwight Schrute, but someone who has donned his name, says that life is short, wear it out. I kind of like that. It's not bad. Except maybe don't, you know, snort cocaine every day and like have your wiener in a hooker every 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's a fine expression. The one I hate is what my dad used to say. He said, "You know, Bo, life is short, but life is long." I'm just like, F off with this, Les. This is like, you know. And I kind of get it, but also it's nonsense, right?
It is
like,
nonsense. It is. That's total nonsense. That's still better than what my dad did, because my dad would just screw him up. He'd say famous phrases and then turn them back the wrong direction. So he'd say, I'd do something dumb, like wrong-headed or whatever, and he'd go, "Damn it, Scotty." He'd call me Scotty. "Scotty, you're always putting the horse before the cart." And I'd sit there for a minute and go, "Wait a minute. I think that's how it's supposed to go. The horse is in front of the cart, and you're supposed to say you're putting the cart before the horse." And then he'd get even madder at me, get more pissed, because I was calling him out. He'd do it all the time. He'd go like, "Early to morning, back to bed will make a man wealthy and wise and up early on time," or, you know, just like this mixed metaphors. It's horrible.
I have a personal question for you while we're on the topic, and I've thought about it. Do you mind, as a dad?
Go ahead.
John, maybe you can chime in, but I don't think you have as much experience as Scott at dadding.
No, definitely not.
Not yet, but he will.
Do you think it's possible for your little, not you, but just a proverbial, your little rascal of a son or daughter, when they say something smart that humiliates you, that if you were the right kind of person to be offended by that you take it out on them?
Oh, geez,
because
no.
I think that a lot of that happened to me, and I didn't really notice. So I'm just wondering, your children have probably been like, "Dad, you're an idiot," blah, and you're like, "Whoa!" Or they didn't even say that; they just said something that made you're like, "Whoa, this kid's clearly smarter, and he put me in my place, and he's 8 years old, or she's 8 years old." Mm. So, you know what I mean? Like, has that ever happened?
No,
to you
not that I can recall. The only time I ever, my kids.
You're a good person, so you're the wrong person to ask.
Well, let me tell you this about my kids. This is funny, and it still comes up here once in a while. So because I was always off at work 8 hours a day a lot, I would come home and I was the guy they were stoked to see, want to wrestle and play, and there's Dad's home, and their mom's just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm dying today." The kids were dying, a handful, whatever. And they knew that I was happy fun time, and that Mom was the one that told them, "Now put that down. No, don't eat that." She was more around for those formative years. So as a result, given that we didn't do daycare, so she was with them all day, every day, and I was just there for the fun part. And I would take, she'd get relief. I was like, "All right, give me the kids. I got them. You go do what you want to do." And then it was dad night all night, and we did that all the time, and I loved it. However, I had a really hard time, and still to this day, I just don't get really mad at my kids, and I don't get loud very often, like angry loud ever. So when I do, it's really rare. So when I do, they've all told me this separately and together, it terrifies them because they don't know, they just don't see it very often. And when they do, they've told me, my oldest daughter's like, Dad, you are scary when you're mad. I'm like, really? Because I've never really been that mad. Like I've raised my voice a couple of times, and you guys like pushed your luck in your teens or whatever. But it was never anything too fiery. But to them, I was such the always happy dad guy that this other part just doesn't exist. So when it would rear its head, it would be like, whoa, that's not something we're used to seeing. Whereas if Kim's mad at him, they're freaking used to it. Because they were driving her crazy all day, and they've already heard her say, take that out of your mouth 50 times. And when I'm there, I'm like, put it in your mouth, whatever, it's fine. You know what I mean? So I never had any of that. In fact, my kids, the benefit for me, I'll tell you what, this is how I won parenting. I beat that level. Here's how. There's a lot more to it, obviously, than this, but having them grow up in their formative years, really just from very young kids to their young adulthood now, during a time where I was very actively building this, even when I was working full time, I was doing podcasting at night, and I was starting to do events, and there would be stuff coming in the mail, and people would know my name, and these small things that would happen like that. It was harder, I think, for my kids to rebel against that because their friends all thought that was really cool. So there was never any, my dad he's lame, he's whatever, or because I knew all the stuff already. I had social media accounts years before they did, phones years before they did. Like I was ahead of all those curves, so they had no curve to go, he doesn't know about this. Like that just never happened. I just always knew, and because I always knew, they always knew I knew, and because we all knew together, that piece of pressure was just gone. There was nothing to rebel against. So what they did instead was our house would become the Kool-Aid house. This is where everybody would bring their friends, and they'd sit here all night till 3 a.m. eating pizza and ruining my couch. But it was worth it because we knew where they were, and the parents appreciated it of the other kids because they knew we were there and that we gave a crap. And we would play video games with these kids. Kim would make food for them all night. Like it was the place to be. And that was better than them going to some party and finding out there's 3 kegs and somebody brought weed. You know what I mean? So we always had like this weird control over it without exerting much control. It was all just based on, if one of them wanted to play sports, we encouraged the hell out of it. If one of them wanted to be an artist or do something with computers, we'd give them every possible opportunity that we could muster for them to be able to pursue what they wanted to do. If you do all of that, and they think your job is cool, they just don't have anything. There's nothing fuddy-duddy about you. There's nothing about them to go, oh, my dad is so lame. He doesn't even know. There was none of that.
Yeah.
So instead it was just just happy.
I guess, I understand the dynamic, too, of who you are. It's like, doesn't make sense for that question. It's like, just in terms of like, I'm sure if one of your children, like at 8 years old, would have said something that made you wrong, like showed you up, that you are not insecure, just be like, wow, you're very smart, I love you, child.
I have it come up every now and then. If it's legitimately smart, I'm impressed and pleased, but here's the but. The kids really like to technically the adults, but they don't like to get it back. So we'll go, hey, it's about time to get ready. It's like if it was right now, I go, kids, it's about 6:20 right now. Why don't you? It's 6:18. And it's like, okay, you're very smart. You're also grounded. It's just it's one of those things where. But then if you try to do it the other way to them, where it's like, hey, how long have you been on that game? Mm-hmm. And they're like, not very long. Really? Because it's been like 2 hours. Well, I don't think it's been quite that long. All right, let's see. It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes. It's basically 2 hours. They don't like the return on the technical.
Oh, no. They don't want to give any of that back. And I don't want to make it sound like any of this was a cakewalk, but I will say that like when they would come over, like I was saying earlier, they ruined my couch. I wasn't kidding. There was a kid once. His name was, his last name was Champagne. What was his first name? This kid, this redheaded kid.
You're going to out him as a couch ruiner?
Yeah.
Live on Twitch?
Oh, he was a total couch ruiner. He came in sat there with a pocket knife or something. And it tore through his pants and through the couch while they were wrestling, two of them. And it tore a big old hole in this leather couch. One time they had a fight. You know the skewers, the wooden skewers you buy to put like meat and vegetables on them and like grill them? What's that called? Shish kebab?
Yeah.
Well, there were these wooden ones.
I think they're skewers. I think they're called skewers.
While I was recording an episode of ELR one night, I heard a bunch of weird ruckus downstairs. I go downstairs and there's like hundreds of these things just stuck in the walls because they had like a dart fight down there. So they ruined a bunch of paint. There was another. What was the other one? One time a kid clogged the toilet so bad we had to freaking call in a plumber. It was so bad because all he did was take a giant shit and then too much toilet
you were like,
paper.
The kid blocked it.
He totally blocked it. We couldn't get it to clear. Okay, it was like running out of there and there was poop everywhere. It was really bad. But I looked at all of that as like acceptable casualties. Like it didn't really bother us because we'd be like, oh, okay, get up from the couch. All right. Give me that. Don't bring that knife over here, you idiot. Like we'd talk to them like that. They were more like our kids than neighbor kids. Yeah. And so, but anyway, that stuff was okay if you just looked at it as just things and it's just time and it's okay. And eventually we're going to laugh about this. And so it made it so that we didn't get so hung up on all the little things. We knew we'd have a time in our life where I could keep an Xbox Series X over here and hardly ever have anyone touch it but me. You know what I mean? Like we knew those days would come. But right now it was their turn and it was their time and it was okay because we relaxed, what would happen is these kids would come over and they're supposed to be hanging out with my kids or whatever, but there'd be crowds of them around me wanting to talk about the PlayStation 3 when it came out, or crowds around Kim they want to talk about how she grew up in Mississippi and what's that like, and did you know Brett Favre in high school, and all these weird questions like this. And so the whole thing just bred, I don't know. I guess what I'm saying is that was one of the keys to us getting through all that, and it was fun. It was so much freaking fun. And I'll tell you what, I was never short a coach or a couch PvP partner to play anything. Because all it took was like, Nick, tell your two buddies, get over here. We're going to play whatever. Okay, sweet. They'd get over there and they'd smell and they'd stink and Kim would make them food. But it was okay because I was there. My kids were there and it was great. It was great. I don't regret any of that time. Except that time two of them tried to break into a neighbor's house for a prank and the police came. But other than that, that was a good experience because it scared them. They didn't ever do that again. So. It was fun.
That's a bow level prank right there.
I've way over explained this, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. Kim deserves most horn tooting anyway, but it was, I look back on all that stuff extremely fondly. People that see kids as a scary burden or whatever, it's okay to feel that way because I did before it happened. But now that I'm on the other side of it, I'd love to go back and keep doing it because it was so much fun.
Do it over again.
I loved it. Loved every
so
second.
John's in that place where he's not sure if he'd do it over again.
No. Well, when you're in the middle of it,
I got one on the way, so we're gonna make up for the time lost and do it all over again.
And you're gonna do great. And it's not. And you're gonna be just like me on the other end. You're gonna go, oh, I missed this and that. It was way too fast. The time went too fast. But then it's like next generation. Having a little 1.5-year-old running around here, although he's sick right now. He's got some kind of. Not COVID, but some kid, touching too much stuff and putting his hand in his mouth kind of disease at the moment. So he's got a little fever and stuff. So he's not much fun tonight. But, getting him around here and I get to kind of do it all over again, minus the barfing and the shitting all the time. Like if he pukes in his bed, it's not in my house. I don't have to worry about that. So anyway, there's benefits to everything I'm saying, and I don't know why I'm over explaining it. But have kids. They're great. Kids are great. All right, what are we doing now?
Well, we were talking about the Xbox Series.
The Xbox. Anyway. So back to the Xbox.
Last thing I would just say on it, just to close it up, I think we've kind of covered everything. I did stream off of it today. It was a little hit and miss. It's not as user-friendly as streaming off of the PS4 was. You do it through a Twitch app that you download on the system. It really does not like menus and switching games while the stream is still going. It seems to have some hangups with that. and I ran into some video issues. Once it was working, it looked and worked great, but that's something that they're going to have to probably figure out. It's a little unintuitive at the moment.
Seems like launch stuff they could tweak and fix pretty easily, though, right? Like,
yeah,
cool.
Nothing too major.
Seriously interested.
Yeah, I'll share my experience. Well, I guess I won't be here next week, but when we get back together, I'll have had some time with mine, and me shifting back to an Xbox product after a whole generation of not is interesting, and it's also, I feel like a bit of a guinea pig, not in a derogatory way, but Microsoft did this thing to me, which was got me hooked on a really inexpensive on-road into their ecosystem through Game Pass on PC, and I really like it there. Like, I really like what it gives me. I think it's a good value, like all of that stuff. So it made all of this much more of a no-brainer for me this time around. I don't know. There's some interesting psychology.
It definitely feels like they're playing a long game. Like, it looks like it, but even listening to you guys speak, you're like, well, I wasn't sure, but then I got this, and then I got that, and next thing you know, boom, I'm I'm all about the Xbox.
So. And my wife is terrified she'll never see the bathroom ever again, because she knows that now all I have to do is take my iPad in and a controller, and I can continue to play the Xbox Series X from the toilet.
Yeah, the streaming stuff is pretty
cool.
Pretty cool, yeah. And that's only going to
It's going to be a scene in a movie someday. Like, honey, what are you doing in there? Do you need help? No, I'm just going for a bathroom. The wife's like at the phone in front of the TV, seeing him like playing Black Desert Online or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I hope good things for both these consoles. A good, healthy, competitive generation is always good for gamers. So we will see how that goes. All right. The other big news that dropped this week is Mass Effect Trilogy Remaster is coming. We talked about it a long time ago. Rumors have been flying forever. It's now officially happening, spring 2021. We're all three of us big fans of the Mass Effect series, although really my love is squarely focused on mainly the two later games. I think 2's maybe a perfect video game, and 3's pretty good. The first game didn't do it for me. It's something about the first game that never did it to me. I think it's those elevators and all the load time. Which brings me to my point. Or the thing I wanted to ask, and John, I'll ask you this first. So, as a diehard fan of the Mass Effect games that I know you are, is this enough? Because it sounds like what we're getting is up-res, the typical remaster checkboxes. Up-resed, 4K capable, maybe better textures. I don't actually know that. Maybe they're adding some lighting stuff in there or enhance them for ray tracing. Probably not, but maybe. Like, we don't have a ton of details on that. But other than that, it sounds like it's going kind of untouched. Like, it's just the trilogy the way it was, with a few things thrown in to sort of tweak things. One would expect we'll spend less time in those elevators in episode 1. I don't know. But how does that make you feel? Because what I was hoping for was like it was hope against hope, but a proper, like, hey, we're remaking that trilogy into one big fat ass game. And when we're going to go full Final Fantasy VII levels of remake here. And they're not doing that.
So when the PS4 first came out, on the top of my list for things that I wanted for that console was just a up-res, better graphic version of the Mass Effect trilogy. Nothing else changed. All the DLC, everything added, better textures, high definition, and on the PC, the big thing being controller support. That's all I wanted.
Right.
And it never happened. Yep. Now we're a whole other generation past that, and now that's what they're doing. And I'm kind of on the fence. It is the safe bet. You can't mess something up if you just kind of leave it as it is, and just make it better. That now, before they mess it up, you could make some mistakes that, we've seen some up-res stuff that doesn't turn out looking very good and that fails. But assuming it comes out and it just looks pretty, and other than that, it's Mass Effect, I think it's fine. I do want it. I want a version on my computer that I can play easily with a controller, because I know it will live on a Steam library or something like that for, as long as that's around, and I can go back to it, because it is one of those games that I like to play through fairly regularly. And when I got rid of my 360, that was the end of it. I didn't really play Mass Effect anymore. So I'm ready. It was almost the first thing I installed on the Series X. If it wasn't for this announcement, it probably would have been the first thing I installed on the Series X. So I'm ready for it. But there is an element where it's like, we heard about this thing ages ago. And then they finally confirm it, and they have nothing to show for it. And it's just like, hey guys, look at these high-res models, the characters you know and like. And it's like, okay, but that's not in the context of the game. You're not showing me any gameplay. You're not showing me what it looks like. You're confirming something we already knew exists, and saying this is when it's coming out, and we're not doing anything to it except making it prettier.
Yeah.
So it's a letdown, but it is giving me something that I want. So it's one of those things where I kind of just, it kind of lands in the middle. I will buy this immediately, day one purchase, no questions asked, and I'll feel good about it. But it would be nice if, and here's where it gets scary, if they could make all 3 games play like Mass Effect Andromeda. That game, for as awful as it was, had the best gameplay of the series. It played and controlled so well. Put Andromeda's controls in there, up-res the graphics to be what it is, and maybe figure out a better way to make the Mako control, and you would have me immediately. Maybe a little better cinematography too, because the last time I went through Mass Effect, even 2, which got better at this, they started to do some more walk and talks, but there would be awkward cuts of just people going, and then it would like kind of jilted cut to something and then show something blow up, and then it would cut and it would look like somebody was in a T pose, and then they'd go, and it's just like you just start to see it. And at the time we were like, this game is so cinematic, but now you're like, ooh, this game is not quite the level of cinema that it used to be. So I'd love to see some of that stuff fixed, but I also understand they've missed a lot with Mass Effect recently, so maybe go for the thing that's going to be a bit more of a surefire hit.
What do you think, Bo? What does a remaster do for you?
I think like John kind of said it all. I'm just ready for a replay. Obviously, I want the full treatment.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what I want. But based on how the presentation has gone, which I haven't seen a trailer, so there's no trailer. It's just an announcement at this point.
An announcement, yeah, kind of a teasery thing, but it's just like
like as a footnote onto other things, right? Like it's not like it wasn't like a front and center, like this is our big project here at EA or BioWare. So
not really,
it kind of was, but it
that's all they're
didn't
doing.
Show anything?
Yeah, in a way, it's both. But what else has EA got going on right now that they can really get super stoked about? Not much. And the thing is, this is another boon on the Microsoft side, by the way, because this will be on EA Play, which is now part of Ultimate. So you just have it when that stuff comes out. So there's no barrier to entry for me when this comes out, and I will get in there again. I don't know what I wanted. I think maybe what I want is a new Mass Effect game, which Mass Effect game, which is happening, except it's just eventually. We don't know when. And also, I don't know what team this is because BioWare is hardly recognizable as the old BioWare anymore, so I don't know who's doing this, but hopefully better than Andromeda turned out. But yeah, a new Mass Effect game coming out. We don't know when. They didn't say. If I had to guess, 2 years at the most, or least.
We'll be playing Starfinder before that, I take it.
Starfinder. Oh, the
Starfinder, Bethesda space game.
Right, which will be exclusive on your Xbox platform.
Your reimagined Mass Effect is going to be Starfinder. That's what's going to be.
It might be, yeah. And again, remember, Microsoft owns them now, so you should be playing that with that thing.
Oh, that'll be on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, it will be. You're starting to
see. So
if
you want to play Bethesda games, like,
yeah, wait, there's still no
Microsoft bought Bethesda, right?
Yeah, there's no hard confirmation.
Okay.
There's no hard confirmation that they won't for sure ship things like Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfinder or other flagship titles to other platforms, but they also haven't said it will. So
all they said was that they don't necessarily have to. People said, well, presumably you would have to put this on other consoles, and they were told, no, we don't have to.
Yeah, they can afford the $7.5 billion. It's not a problem for them. They have the money.
I hate that. They're not. I bet you that's probably a little bit of an internal debate at Xbox, because whoever is pushing the open platform stuff probably not everyone's on board with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because if they stay true to their principle, if they're like open platform, hey, open platforms, open. Oh wait, we own Bethesda now. Sorry.
Yeah, but
This one's gonna be
we're only
exclusive.
talking about the exclusion of Sony, because you're still going to get this on PC. They'll still have it on Steam. They'll still have it on Game Pass. But if you want to just
doesn't
go
that
buy
make you look like a baller that you are so awesome that you'll put it on your competitor's thing and be like, yeah, take it, buddy. You need the help, all the help you can get over there at Sony. You better sell our game on your console.
I mean,
Well,
if
they
I were
might.
them,
They haven't said it's not. They've just said that the presumption that they have to is a presumption.
yeah, that's incorrect. And I believe that because the presumption's based on whether or not they have to hustle to make the $7.5 million sing and make it worth it. Microsoft has so much money. $7.5 billion is nothing to them. It's nothing in the broad scheme of things. It's a lot of money, but not to them. And so I don't mean to say they don't take it seriously. There's a reason they're spending that and buying that. But I wouldn't be surprised if they said, all right, look, on PC, we're putting it everywhere, including our store, including Steam, including Epic. Everyone's going to get it. Come get it on PC if you want it. But over here on the Xbox, that's where it's going to live. And it won't be on a Sony platform. I mean, that's just playing Sony's game. I don't see why they can't or shouldn't or won't. So,
yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's the whole. I'm just trying to be the bigger person kind of thing, right? That's all.
Right.
But I know it's business and not like that, but my sensibilities are still wrapped up in what's going on. So I'm just like, to be the bigger person. It makes me like Xbox. Like Xbox is being cool does more to hype me about them than the coolest games they can have. Like, we're living in an age where people are very conscientious of the companies they're engaging with, and to see a company do moral things and to be cool and to try and solve problems, like that's where I want to be. I don't really want to be a part of Sony's exclusive. I'm a bourgeois gamer. I play only the best studio games with the best resolution. I don't play that shit that's on every other platform.
You're not wrong. There is some of that.
I'm not into the Sony identity. I can kick that to the curb. Unfortunately, they do have exclusives I want to play, Final Fantasy VII, but that's it. I don't like that. That's not an identity I want to be a part of. So I just feel like if I want to be a part of, if Xbox wants me to be like, I love Xbox, then they're not going to do dickish things.
Well, here's what I would promise you is 100% true. If Sony bought Bethesda, this would not be on Xbox, and it certainly wouldn't be on PC because they just aren't doing that over there. They got like one example of a game that they agreed to put on PC with Event Horizon, and that's it. Not Event Horizon. Horizon Zero Dawn. You know, that great game with a outer space.
Event Horizon Zero Dawn. Let's do a mashup game. That's
Sam Neill getting his face all cracked up and stuff. It's great. Losing his eyes. It's a fantastic game. Anyway, but yeah, so like if the shoes were flipped on the other feet, there's no way Sony's sharing that love. So I'm not saying that that's justification. I'm just saying, well, at least PC people can get it anywhere, including Steam.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like this is the most open you're going to get out of somebody like Microsoft, but could be wrong.
Your words sound very wise.
Yeah, but who knows? Sometimes I'm totally dead wrong.
I think you're right. I just know I'm fussy.
I'd be all for a new Mass Effect is my bottom line, and so hurry up on that, but also make it right. So don't hurry up, I guess, because you can't.
Make a good one, because I played an additional Mass Effect game and it was bad.
It was bad. It was a bad video
really,
game.
really bad. I played through the entire freaking thing, just waiting. It was like me watching Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Maybe at some point the thing that I love will show up, and it never did.
Yep, that's a bummer. But you do say the game. I've never heard you say this before. You think the gameplay was the best of the four.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think Andromeda played really, really well. I don't think I could have gotten through that game if the gameplay wasn't good.
So
but the gameplay was legitimately pretty good.
Was it story that was bad?
Yeah, I mean the characters were pretty bad.
Yeah.
They were a lot of the same things. You've got Nasari, who's an archaeologist and way into old stuff, which is exactly what Liara was, except this one's got a weird name like PB, and she's got a black can of spray paint that she shot over her eye, and her whole thing is she's kind of a wild card. You don't know what she's going to be into. And now here's your stalwart, friendly, Garrus-like Turian, and she's cool, she's hanging out, and she's going to be your buddy. And Like the whole idea was they were going to a whole other universe to get away from the Reapers and that whole storyline, and that made sense. And then it turned out that the only part of that story that was interesting at any point was when it tied back into the original. Like when you got messages from, spoilers, Liara, and you learned little bits and pieces of what was going on back in your home galaxy, it was like, oh my gosh, there's actually something potentially cool here. But so much of it just fell apart. I didn't like the characters, and it had the same problem as Halo 4, where it was like, oh, you got this brand new universe, this brand new place. You don't have to be tied to any of the old tropes. And they're like, you've discovered 2 new aliens, and everything else is the same.
That's a bummer, man. Bummer. It's also pretty buggy at launch, right? I guess some of that got fixed, but
yeah, there's a lot of weird faces.
There's a lot of memeing going on at that time. I remember
a lot of weirdness with the game. It just didn't look good, and it felt unfinished. Like that was the thing. You played through the entire thing, and you thought, well, wait a minute, wasn't Mass Effect like a landmark game? Why does this feel like a game that isn't completed? What happened?
Yeah, that's a bummer. But new stuff on the horizon. Maybe that'll be good. Now this. Games we played this week. I played a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. John did as well. We can talk about this real quick, I guess. It is... I really like it so far. What I like about it is the game seems to be returning a little bit to the things I liked about the early games in the series without losing the stuff that I like about the newer ones. The one big difference between this and Odyssey for me is the girl in Odyssey was amazing. What was her name? Forgot her name, John.
Why can't
Katrina?
I think of it?
Oh, Clytemnestra? No.
Cassandra,
that's it. Yeah.
Clytemnestra?
You guys say Cassandra a lot. I've never played it. I don't know why I'm confirming it for you guys.
You're like, yes, no, that's it. That's the name you said.
Yeah, no, but you got it right.
It's Cassandra. I'm pretty sure it's Cassandra.
Yeah. She was amazing. She made Odyssey just so much better than it had any right to be. The guy was a dud in that choice. But in that game, you chose at the beginning, and that's it. That whole playthrough, you are her or you are him, and that's it. That's just who you're playing as. And in the story, there's interactions with the other character, but they're as your sibling, and it's a whole thing. In this game, you, at the very beginning of the game, you either choose lady or choose man, or let the game choose for you.
Camera or person.
Right, right. And in the middle option, which is let the game choose for you, I don't know if that means that every time you get in, it's he or she, or it's swapped around. I don't know. I have no idea. But maybe it's just the one time they choose. But anyway, any time during this game.
I don't think the game would just pick. They didn't do a good job of explaining that choice. They're like, you'll be playing as whoever the simulation feels strongest towards. And I'm like, the hell does that mean?
Yeah, that's a dumb thing.
I don't know why I would pick this. So, yeah.
But basically, it was a way of saying, and there's a tooltip in there that says, you can change back and forth anytime you want to in the game. And sure enough, this is absolutely true. I was in the middle of a raid where you find an island full of dudes, and you tell your longboat, your freaking Norway longboat, to pull up into that thing and raid it. And you all hop out with axes blazing, and you just go wipe everybody out and take all their loot and smash stuff and light everything on fire. It's great. Total Viking shit. It's just great. Mm-hmm. And the first time I did that, right in the middle of the fight, everybody's in the middle of meleeing. In fact, I was just fighting somebody, and I thought, I wonder if it lets me switch right now. And so I went and did it, and changed over to the dude, and it went right back in, and now I'm the dude. I got my gear on, everything's great, and as soon as there's any kind of talking or story,
skin change, right? Yeah, basically,
but also voice change.
But everyone... do the NPCs react like, "Wait, I thought you were a man. What? Where did you go?" And then you're like, stuck up on you.
No, none of that. There's none of that. But it does.
How does
everything else
work?
Everything plays out differently in the conversations, in that all the different pronouns are used. You have if there was any kind of like gender issue during the conversation that would require an answer that was gender specific, then it switches to be that for the man or that for the woman or whatever. So it's interesting because it just lets you switch if you're not happy with one or the other, I think is the main idea. I, this time around, really like the dude characterization, and I don't like the lady so much.
You might be right. I'm gonna give you. I haven't played as the guy yet, but I will say this: the lady is no Cassandra.
No.
Holy shit! She sounds like she's tired. She sounds like she doesn't really want to be there.
Oh, now
Yeah,
I don't want to play Valhalla anymore.
It's
sounds-
shifted. It flipped this time.
I need my Lagritha fix. Aren't they? Didn't they hire Catherine Winnick to be part of this game?
Oh, I don't know.
please?
Look it up.
I don't know.
was
I'm just
playing
saying if they didn't
your-
do that, they should have done that because
They should have just cast whoever was
best.
playing your mom at the beginning because she was a badass. That's who I want to play
Oh,
as.
yeah,
I think
she
it was
was
your mom,
great.
right?
Yeah, she was good.
In that opening scene, I was like, that's who I want to play.
Mhm.
And then I got stuck as this lady who's just like, there's enemies there. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, she's
She-
a little of a.
She
She's
just
a dud.
sounds a little like she's trying a bit too hard to be. There's just not enough personality behind it. It's not as bad as I'm making it out to sound. I
Right.
think people who probably like it are gonna throw some shade at me, and that's probably fair. It's not that bad,
Yeah.
but whereas Cassandra was this big personality and over the top, and that's what made her great. This character is devoid of personality.
Yeah, she's nothing.
There's
That
no personality.
That's what Cassandra. It's not that Cassandra is just better. It's that she's exceptional. Like the voice actress and just the characterization is so good that it
they
made everything else.
They
look
kind of
bad.
nailed it. Like someone played the piano part really good. And you're
Yeah.
just like, oh, mwah.
And
it's
I'm just going to
not-
go out on a limb here and say, as much as I enjoyed Cassandra, I really like the dude in this. He's played by a guy named Magnus Brun or Brun. I'm not sure how you say his last name. You need to see this guy on IMDb. He looks like a freaking Viking. This guy, he's red hair, shock of hair,
what is-
big beard.
What is the lady like? Is she?
Her name is
maybe when you see her, you're like, oh, this voice actress is much better now because the context makes sense.
Well, her name is Cecilie Stepfil. She's either Icelandic or she's somewhere Norwegianish, sort of Norway, that business. Most of the cast is actually. They're like this guy here's my favorite. Sigmund in the game is played by Gamundur Thordvilson. I mean, that dude's a Viking. My hell. Like, that's the most Viking-ass name. Another guy, his real name is Aaron Mar Olafsson. Bjorn Bergsten is another guy who's in this. Like, they hired a bunch of, like...
that exotic name, Aaron.
Well, but they kind of originated that name.
I know. They definitely are not. They're international actors from.
Sure,
from
and that was
sure.
that was true of Cassandra and the other voice cast for the last game. They do this. They go for that authenticity. But I'm telling you, this Magnus Brun guy is great. He's
I don't know.
great.
Cicely looks like she. I'm sad to hear it. I was looking forward to playing Lady Viking.
Well,
oh well.
Here's the fun part: you can switch back and forth anytime you want. You can fight with her.
I don't want to play the dude. I'm not interested in the dude.
He's good. He's good. He's
No,
a great
I-
dude.
I like the idea of a
well,
savage, badass woman that just like is more murderous than any guy that's nearby
Yeah.
in a world full of murderers and savages that just tear each other's heads off and steal from each other. And
Well, she definitely does.
it's part of my thing. I'm just like, I just want a woman to go in there and just go, cut your head off.
If you want that,
Hulk
she'll
style.
do all those things you just said. She does all those things. So
Yeah, well, John made it sound like it was not so much fun.
it's just her personality. It's just
It's
her
not
voice.
the worst thing. It's just it's
Okay,
fine.
I have let me be clear. I have played maybe 15 minutes of this game. I have not put very much time in it.
Mm.
I barely played it. And for most of it, I was a
Oh.
tiny little kid. You want to talk about weird performances? The little kid sounded like a robot. I was like, what's going on? Is
Well-
the animus breaking around this kid? And that might be intentional based on what happens later. But like the little kid is just like, Papa in like two voices, and it's
Yeah.
just robotic and evil. And I was like, no, this is bad.
Yeah, it's here's what's interesting about that. They were aiming obviously for this kid is non-binary. You don't know if it's man or woman. And so as the game progresses with that kid, that whole sequence, which it's about a 15-minute sequence, something like that. You don't know who that kid is or how he might present. And then that's when you choose. You go, oh, okay. Like the animus interrupts and goes, oh shit, what are we going to do? Male or female? I don't know. Like there's this little bit there, and then you choose. And then your next scene is you as either her or him, being taken off, and you're about to get kidnapped. Basically, you've been all beat up, and you're an adult now, so a bunch of time has passed. And I thought that was really a great way to do that. But the voice of that kid is straight up broken. Like, I don't. Weird. Oh my gosh, I gotta play it for you guys. Oh, is YouTube even working? Hold on, let's see.
I don't know. There's a side conversation going on in chat room about it.
Yeah, YouTube has been up for a lot of discussion tonight.
Let's see. Okay, here it is. I'm gonna just try to find this scene with this kid. Okay, it is working. So we've got some.
Creed Valhalla, man. We have.
I gotta do a commentator, do I?
No, don't.
I don't want to do that. I'm trying to find no commentary if I can.
I'm going to tell you about this game, but first I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the description and links below.
Yep, here it is. No commentary.
Love
okay,
it.
so I'm going to skip around.
And horns resound the mighty horn.
Okay, it's before they sing. All right, kid, go talk to your dad. I really like the intro, by the way, like the stuff before this. It's very trippy, very like Norseman mythology lady talking. Okay, here he is. Listen to this kid.
Go. So, you see our king? Yes, good.
Hang on, it's coming.
Come, Eva. Did you find the ring?
They don't make him say much.
Now for our little plan. You see us talking.
Skip.
Quiet as well.
Give a little bit.
Sorry.
Like this. Look at bonded.
Talks to the other kid.
Oh, that's right.
Get up,
All right.
Stay lucid.
So he's gonna go dance.
All of these.
And then he bows. And he dances. Okay. And it's real stupid. Where's the other kid? I think this playthrough might not know what they're doing.
Ready to celebrate this great day?
I have a gift for the king. Then I will dance.
Good.
It's not. You know what? That's better than what I heard. What I heard
I
sounded like they were in a
hear
can.
that clear. What I heard was the damn robot. That sounded way better.
Yeah, I heard somebody
did
go,
not hear
"Oh,
that.
hi, I'm a little kid and I'm in this to win it." Like it was like that.
Oh, is that bad? Because I was going to say that didn't sound that bad.
I heard the same thing. Maybe it's bugged or something.
It was bad.
It was really bad. So, John, you're not wrong. I don't know why that video is in better shape than I thought. But anyway.
Apparently it's a
If
game
you have-
setting.
It's
Yeah.
a game setting.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
If you want to hear double kid,
Yeah, you want to hear Double Kid, go for it.
just turn on double kid.
It's a really great cinematic sequence. It's all rendered in game. It's beautiful. It ran really nice on my PC. And I really liked. Oh, the other thing I like about the dude versus the lady is there's just a ton more cosmetic options. So because beards. So he's got like a billion.
Beards,
He's got like beard options that are long and braided and messy and clean and shaved and all this other stuff. Bald, short hair, long hair, and I love messing with all that stuff. And so,
That's a good sound. That's a good sound.
I dropped
We got
something again.
one.
Gosh dang it!
That should be the Xbox low button power sound.
Yeah, that's the sound we're looking for right there.
Time for some.
Can you clip that and share it with the
Yes,
whole world?
I will do that. I will go back and find it. I'll mark it. But anyway, so it's like he has so many options that I just feel like I can go tweak him anytime. And if you go to, basically, it's the tattoo artist in town. Any of the towns that has a tattoo artist, you go talk to that guy, and he'll give you fresh tattoos on your whole body, whatever you want. Choose your arm, they're going all full cosmetic with this. And if you want to do a different beard or a different skin tone or all that stuff, it's like a barbershop in World of Warcraft. You just go in there and the guy takes care of you. It doesn't even cost anything. You just do it. So I did that a few times, and he's got way more options than she does. She has very little in that regard. Mainly because she doesn't have beards, if I'm being honest. I played about 4.5 hours of it, and I really like it so far, like a lot. I think the story's going in really interesting places. I think that game is really pretty. There have been a couple of moments where early on it wasn't as pretty as I expected it to be, and I thought, oh, this seems like a bit of, not a step back, but like a step to the side, like a different, I don't know. But that kind of went away. The minute you start getting out into the world proper, it's just vista after vista. I kept thinking John's going to love this because there's so much damn snow, and it's not a desert this time, so...
You're making me stop. You're making me regret what I bought today.
Just pay the 15 and do the monthly and cancel
Yeah,
your.
pay the
Oh
15.
yeah. Okay.
Then you
Oh
can
my
play
god. See, how bad my
Watch
memory. We haven't even finished the show yet. I've already
Play.
forgotten. I can't play it, you guys. I spent all my game money. Sorry.
Yeah, it's neat though. I feel like I'm playing a really cool, Viking simulator, and who doesn't want that? So I'm in. I'm all in on this thing, and I think the boat stuff's cool. The raids are cool, unless you leave a. I can't figure out the raven. You know, the raven is basically the eagle and the owl or whatever from the previous 2 games.
Yeah.
It doesn't work the same. It's different. The raven will get up there, and that's all fine. But then when you try to find the quest area, what it wants you to do now is not zero in until you find the exact thing and then an icon appears. It wants you to find kind of a general area and then mark it. And then I'm to go into that general area and then hold down left stick and do the big blah to try to see everything that's in there to find my quest giver. It's not a big deal. It just a different flow than the old bird mechanic used to be.
Do you think that will be an upgrade? Because the thing that kind of, I don't want to say killed the experience. I'm looking forward to playing more, but was hard. Was I have put so many hours into Odyssey, is that I got in and it's so familiar to that game that I was like, okay, sneak up. All right, let's stealth kill this guy. And then there's no button prompt for stealth kill. And I was like, what the hell? What am I doing? And it's like, hit R to hit him. And I was like,
you know why?
Because you don't. And then the guy was like, "Oh, you hit me with an axe from behind. Let's fight." And I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah, no. Here's the problem.
and
it's like Origins that way, because in Origins you don't have your wrist thing for a while. You got to get to the story point where you get it. It's the same here.
I figured as much, but like it's hard to go back. It's so similar that it's difficult to all of a sudden go from this stealth killing, like I can handle any situation no matter what happens, badass, to I hit you from behind with an axe and you were just like, ow.
Well, I've got my knife now and I am stealth killing people like a wild man. And there is a renewed focus on the more stealthy parts of Assassin's Creed games, which I'm very glad about. Because on the one hand, you have these raids which are loud and get on shore and tear everybody to pieces with double axes and everything. But then there are definitely really cool stuff where I'm getting to decide how I want to sneak into this place, take guys out, throw them in the bush. That stuff's my jam, and they really have a good focus on that. So I like that. The skill tree in the game looks like it's like what's the Diablo-like game everybody plays or people like?
Path of Exile.
Path of Exile. It's like Path of Exile skill tree. It's got this crazy like branching skill tree thing that goes off in a billion directions, but it really functions like the old ones did. It's just a little more. It's like supposed to be like reading the stars, the way that like almost Skyrim does it, kind of with the weird nodule or you know what I'm talking about, where you connect different stars and stuff. It's like that kind of, except more top down, and it's all in keeping with this theme of like these shamanistic religious figures that are in there, that are in that time. I really like that stuff, but it's different. It's very different than what we had previously. But it feels great to me. I like the combat a lot better for some reason. I feel like the right and left stick functionality is cool. There's this great thing, Bo, where you'll find these books around the world that give you skills on top of your regular skills. So there's all the passives and actives that you get through the skill tree, but sometimes you just need to find a scroll or a book somewhere. And when you do, you teach yourself a thing and you can assign them to either this trigger or this trigger so that they do certain abilities combined with the buttons. I'm not playing with mouse and keyboard. I'm sure whatever equivalent E or Q or whatever's on there. And one of them is dual axe, like picture a Viking with foes in front of him, and you build up the meter by fighting like normal video games. But when the thing's full, you hit the trigger and hit Y. Suddenly the camera kind of parks behind me a little bit, goes behind me. And I take these axes and I throw one, shunk into the guy's chest. Shunk, second one to his chest. He's dead. A third axe, shunk into that guy's chest. Like, this amazing sequence of. I cannot wait to use that thing every time it pops. It's so good.
Yeah, I'm trying to install Ubisoft right now. You're making me. I'm fully aroused. You've done it.
Here's the other nice thing. Here's the nice thing. If you were a lot like Microsoft's doing, that $15 a month thing is, and maybe even without it. Yeah, I guess without it too. If I have this on Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5 and PC, those shares are all, or those saves are all going to be cloud saves now. So I could easily jump from one to the other and never lose a beat, which is really cool. On all Ubisoft games, that's the plan. Right now, I think it's Valhalla and a couple others that support it, but it's pretty rad, man. The game's good so far.
I'm going to try and get this and play it as soon as possible. You made it sound super awesome.
We've sold you on it. I think you'd like it. I think, John, as you get further, I think you're going to like it even more. They really have nailed the Viking business in a major way for me, and I really like the dude. I hate to say it, but I just think the dude's rad. He's just cool, and he's got a great voice. The voice actor there is basically Micah.
He sounds like the one to play if it's way better. Like I like me some Ragnar Lothbrok and all that, but whatever they're using for his inspiration, I'm sure it's going to be fun. So.
Yeah, it's good. More on that as we play more, obviously. I also played a bit of Days Gone. We talked about that last week briefly. I'm still enjoying that PlayStation 4 game. Got it way late. We're a year and a half after it came out, but another open world game. And still playing Watch Dogs Legion, the other Ubisoft open world game, and loving that. So even though I spent a ton of time in Valhalla, I'm really having the open world party time at my house and can't get enough of it. John, the one thing I haven't done, and I need to before Friday, is to try the WoW pre-patch event, or the pre-expansion event, which launched Tuesday?
Yeah.
How is that? What do you do?
It's fine.
Yeah.
You got some quests. You fly around. You see some zombies running around. Then you go, and I guess light spoilers, but they're putting it on social media everywhere, so here it is. Then you go fight Nathanos at his house, and you murder him. Well, you don't. Taronda does, but you kill him, and you get loot, and then you go to Ice Crown. And when you go to Ice Crown, the cool thing that's there, you got a bunch of daily quests. You got a daily quest hub, and all the bosses from like the Ice Crown Citadel and the dungeons around there spawn as rare mobs in the area for
like Hodir and stuff like that.
Hodir's out there, and you've got.
Whoa!
I fought Professor Putricide a bunch of times, and. Chat kind of sums it up. Wait 20 minutes over and over. There is a long delay between spawns. One of the cool things is that if you have the add-ons for it, you will get told which one is spawning. There's also a delay. So a new thing WoW is doing with rare spawns is they appear, and they appear in like this whirlwind, and it's like they're there channeling energy and growing stronger. And it gives you time to gather and prepare. And then eventually that drops and they become targetable. So it gives you a chance to get to the area and prepare so you can actually participate in it, rather than feeling like, oh, I'm always 1 second too late to hit the enemy.
Gotcha.
It's not going to set the world on fire. Like, the gear that's dropping is meant clearly for alts. And, if you didn't play much of late game Battle for Azeroth, I didn't do a ton, and the gear was not as good. So... your mileage is going to vary, but it's cool. There's a cutscene for the death of Nathanos, and that one was pretty good.
I'm a little sad to hear he goes down so quick.
Yeah, but think of where we're going.
Oh,
we're going where dead people go. Yeah, so
good point.
That's why I kind of don't feel like it's much of a spoiler. He even says it in the cutscene. He's like, "You'll just send me right where I want to go." But it's neat. So, we probably haven't seen the last of him.
Well, looking forward to digging through that and seeing how that looks, and that expansion. I'm very excited about it. Bo, you played a bunch of Rocksmith, Surviving Mars, games we've heard about before, but lo and behold, Baldur's Gate 3 finally.
Bought, about a few hours before the show, I bought Baldur's Gate 3 finally. It's purchased. It's downloading as we speak. and I'll be playing it within the hour or so, whenever the show ends.
You might
I'm
stream it, I
excited.
hear. So
I could-
people could
Yeah, I'm
watch
going
it.
to stream it. I mean, yeah, people. I want to share in the delight. Maybe people will decide if they want to buy it or not because it's buggy in early access. So
Sure.
why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just couldn't hold out any longer. It's D&D. It's Larian.
Yeah.
I got to try it.
I want to
So
see
$80 demo
I want-
or $80 beta test.
it's basically what you're doing, but that's okay because I want to see our DM play the next big D&D game. So.
I'm really, really interested in the game, and they will update it as it goes. I'm pretty sure there'll be stuff. So I feel fine. And also, I'll have Valhalla to play because I'm now fully subbed, and it's also downloading as we speak. Because I really wanted to play Odyssey, but I felt like I missed the boat. And I actually really like Greek stuff. I mean, Hades, it's actually weird that I didn't get it, but I'm really into Viking things, and I don't want to miss another AC, like this new generation of whatever AC sounds like, because I haven't played them.
Yeah, they're a whole new
I'm excited.
bag.
And Watch Dogs last week, when you were talking about it, it did sound massively appealing. I'm gonna get that too with the Ubisoft Plus, right?
Oh yeah, you totally should. You should mess about with these. And I mean, it seems crazy to say, oh yeah, play two big sprawling open world games at once, but I think those two things are so different. Like their focus is so different. Obviously,
I'm just gonna go out and check them out. If they hook me, they hook me. They don't, they don't. I only pop $20 for it, so it's all good.
So is that what it is? It's about $5 difference there. It's
$19.99 in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's why I was asking about the Xbox too, because the X here I saw it for like over $600. It's almost $700. I was
geez.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's $4.99 here.
I'm just gonna buy Ubisoft Plus and we'll be good.
Yeah.
don't need the Xbox.
I assume they're doing the 24-month thing everywhere, right? Or are they just doing it? I don't know what they're doing.
Oh no, there is the month thing, but I don't take out loans. I'm very bad at paying them back, as I learned a long time ago. So I don't do that kind of thing. But it's not a judgy way, it's a self-judgy way. Don't lend me money, anyone.
Well, if you look at it as look at it like your sub to Game Pass, it just sits there and you forgot about it for 2 years, but it went ahead and paid for your Xbox. See, that's how you look at it. Because that's all it is.
Oh yeah.
Because you're basically paying...
No, I don't like doing those things. I already have a few VSTs that are rent to own, and that's my limit. Like I don't like doing that kind of thing.
What's a VST? So. What is that?
Well, the VST, it's like a plug-in for your video and audio programs. You know, they can get compressors and reverbs and stuff. So for my music making, I have some VSTs that are virtual instruments and, effects chains and stuff for music.
Sure. It's
like
for
Reason you can rent to own. So it's like I have Autotune, like official Autotune by Antares. It's $120 or $130 thing, but I just pay $10 a month till it's paid off, and then I have Autotune. I'm a proud owner of the Autotune VST, which I can plug into anything that supports VST 2 or 3 or something.
That reminds me, you said Autotune, and we forgot to mention this during the Valhalla talk. John, I don't think you've seen it yet if you're not quite there, but Valhalla features rap battles.
I heard about this.
It's so weird.
Really? I'm so glad I signed up for Ubisoft.
Let me explain them. So it's based on an actual old ancient Norwegian thing, basically a game that people would play with each other, where they would basically have rhyming rap battles.
Yeah, the North Coast.
And I forgot the name of it. They have a name for it in this thing. It's called Doing Us, whatever it is.
Hip hop.
And you, yeah, just hip hop. Hip Hoppenheimen. Anyway, they do a
hip Hoppenheimen.
So they do it. Is it flitting? Flyting. Flyting, something like that. Anyway, so you go up to this dude and he'll go, I'm about to talk to you and we're going to have a rapping to do or whatever. I don't know what he says. It's a little more frilly and old school, old world or whatever. And then you have to reply in the best sentence based on the structure of his thing. And then he replies, and then whoever wins, eventually going to do this for some money if you want. Like there's some weird little mini games in this thing that are just going to make
the notion of warrior poets battling is not something that was invented this century.
No.
That's existed before.
Yeah. And
I'm on board with that. I mean, that sounds flat out like insult sword fighting from Secret of Monkey Island. So I'm all about it.
You're not wrong. It's cool.
I'm really looking forward to it. I love rap battles.
Yeah. That stuff I think they've done a really good job of. And I haven't even gotten to, they really are they're letting the features roll out. It's not like the whole thing's been a tutorial so far, but they're rolling out some of the features as you go. And the one thing I haven't even gotten yet in that playtime is the city function, which is a way to improve your clan. And it's not like, don't think of it as like a mobile game where you got different currencies and your bullshit city view and all that. It's not like that, but it's improvements to your city to, improve some of your own stats. And when you do raids, you're going to have more power with you and that sort of thing. And I haven't gotten any of that yet, but I'm excited to see how that stuff pans out as well. It's one thing I do miss from like 2, I guess it was. Assassin's Creed 2 had the ability to, when you took over parts of the city, you would also then commandeer shops. So this place that makes bread is now yours, and you just get regular income from it as long as you keep owning that space or whatever. I used to really like that stuff, and this is kind of some of that, I guess. Although again, I haven't seen it, but that's happening. So you're gonna have to let me know what you think of that. All right, so we'll talk more about those games next time we talk. What we think, what we all spend our time with. But now an email.
That's a good question.
Here's one from Will G. Speaking of rappers, I don't know if he's a rapper or not. I shouldn't say it. Hold on. I just unplugged my headphones. Hold on.
I'm sure he won't be offended. If
I mean, look.
He'll be fine, right? He'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think we're okay.
He sent this. Well, you never know in 2020. I'm just trying, I'm walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
He says this, hey, Scott, John, and Bo. He sent this to talktothecore@gmail.com. Just wanted to say thanks for all your hard work and the many hours of entertainment I get from your podcast. You are a dynamic trio, and have both hilarious and informative conversations. Question for you all. Who is your favorite god in Hades, and which Hades character would make the best addition to Heroes of the Storm? Says Will G.
I like this question a lot because I like both of those games a lot.
I like Megara or whatever her name is. Have her in there.
Megara, really?
Yeah.
The one that's like the ASMR lady. That's the ASMR lady. Yeah. She's like, Zagreus, we're going to fight now. Okay.
I see you're back again.
Prepare to die.
Yeah, prepare to die. How you doing?
Okay, so that's your favorite.
That day was every time she said we're gonna fight now, what she actually meant was I love you.
Yeah. Don't spoil it for some people.
I'm not spoiling. That's a quote.
I know. Sorry. My favorite. Who's your favorite god, John? I'm still buying time for thinking.
I like Dionysus every time he shows up. He's just
hey man, how's it going?
Man. Oh man, we're just gonna have a good time. Like, he's pretty cool. I do like Artemis and her weird, like, I don't like any of the other gods, but I'll talk to you. I think balance between character I like and abilities that I enjoy, I would probably go with Athena. Would probably be my favorite.
Hubba. She's the goddess of love,
No, that's the justice god.
Oh.
Athena's the justice god.
Oh. Sorry. Who am I thinking of?
Aphrodite.
Aphrodite, that's what I meant. She's naked too in that game. Did you notice that who's the death guy you go buy stuff from in the middle of a run?
Charon?
That guy. I want him in Heroes of the Storm. He would be great.
He'd be good. He's got some.
Do you know the secret of Charon yet?
No, is there a secret? What's the secret?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Really?
Let's just say Bo and I could probably put together a pretty good move list for him.
Uh-oh. I have a feeling I might face up against that guy in the game eventually if I get far enough. Right.
I want Skelly.
More than a feeling.
Storm.
Skelly?
Oh, no thanks.
You don't want
Skelly?
Skelly?
I like not as a playable character, just as okay, boyo, we're gonna load up the game there, bud.
I want him playable. I want him to go down the lane. I want all of his traits to involve wanting to be hurt and hit, and just like you hit Q and he's like, "Oh, hit me harder," and I just want him to constantly ask for more punishment as you go. He's just a tank that's there to absorb damage.
So he's like worse than Murky. He does no damage and he can just take damage and he can't do anything to anyone. He just the only thing he can do is block people with his hitbox as he moves around.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Like, hey boyo, you're gonna hit me.
I like that Bo basically made him Canadian just now. That's my favorite.
Yeah, no,
part.
he's not Canadian. He's got like a New York accent, but I can't do that.
Yeah.
You do it, John.
How's it going,
Same
bud?
voice as Zagreus, which is interesting.
Yeah, Zach. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Same guy, and the guy who does the music for the game.
I also didn't know that. That's crazy.
It's like this crazy like artisanal project versus like it's an in-house affair. It makes it feel good playing it in a weird way.
He's like, I'm recording tracks today, and then I think I'm going to do some Skelly and Zagreus dialogue, so it's going to be a lot of me today. It's like, you're busy.
I've thought of my answer now, and it wasn't the one I thought it was going to be, but for how much I've talked and had issues and how it's triggering it's been, clearly Hades is my favorite god. Because I like beating him, and I like the whole daddy issue dynamic of the last boss of the game being your dad and him being like shitty to you and all this. Like, there's like a kind of fun. It's primal. I guess it taps into some primal stuff. Bosses in games aren't usually your dad. In fact, I'm trying to think of how many games where it's a family. Some familial relationship like that. They're really going for the Oedipal complex stuff here, and I just love it. So he's my favorite.
All right, there you go. That's who we want in Heroes.
Complex, and I got
Oedipal. I said Oedipal. Oedipal.
I figured it out, but I heard something different initially. That's all.
I did use the P. It was not my fault.
Yeah, what he said was, "I ate a pole." Wait, what?
Yeah, ate a pole.
Those Polish
I
people
think
are
Bo's
tasty.
right. Skelly was a bit of a joke pick. Hades is pretty solid.
All right,
Hades,
not bad.
You just don't think of him because he's like the badass of the game, but it's for sure him.
All right,
He's
how
got
about this?
infinite cloaks,
That's true. How about this?
That's true.
How about this email here from Dead Center, who wrote in and says, "Hey, Core, love you guys. Just wanted to make sure you guys knew that there was new DRG update and DRG meaning Dwarf. What's the name of that game?
It's not the name.
Deep Rock
The name is
Galactic.
Dwarf Game. It's Dwarf Game.
Dwarf game.
call it
That's
Dwarf
why it
game.
was throwing me.
And Vermintide is Rat Game.
He says
Dwarf
that-
game, rat game. There are games we play.
He says there's 2 new mission types. Highly recommend hopping in, checking them out. That's it. Keep up the great work, Dead Center. I've actually meant to go check those out. There's like some sort of new escorty thing and what's the one I saw that
yeah, they were even talking about that because those were on the docket at the time, so they must be out by now.
Yeah, they're out now and apparently are pretty good. And I did
Like
mean
some new raid type missions or it was some new end game stuff or mission types maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking when
we
we
get back in there.
Yeah, when we have some like holiday
Christmas
downtime, when we were talking about doing some streaming and stuff anyway, we should definitely be playing more Dwarf Game. I love that game.
For sure.
Yep. It's done nothing but improve. If you have thoughts, feelings, games you think we should be playing, and anything else, send them to talktothecore@gmail.com. That's going to do it for the show, I think. I think that's it.
That was a good show. We didn't. I thought maybe we had another little package, or we saving that package.
Oh, did we have a package? What package? Did we have a package?
Just a little delivery of goodness, but I guess we don't. So it's
Did
fine.
we? Oh, did we have a
mashup?
Mashup?
Yeah, but maybe he was out there on the internet promising everyone there'd be a mashup today. And if we're out of time, we're out of time.
No, we're playing it. I found it. We're playing it.
Yeah,
we got it.
Got it.
Yep. I'm
Sweet.
glad you said that.
Show saved, everyone. Show saved.
I would have felt really bad if I didn't play it. So yeah, because we're not. By the way, PSA, we're not here next week. We're not here next week, so I'm on vacation and there's no show. So taking that one off. So this will be good. This will tide us over. So here's a core mashup. This is from Jamie. It's called this, Dick and Balls Incorporated. So enjoy whatever the hell that meant. Okay, here goes then.
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, you're fine. Whatever noise that was, keep doing that.
Want that bacon? Put it on a plate. I'm a dog who's late for his date.
So suspect.
I'm mixing it up with another one that I have questions about.
Oh, Dick and Balls or whatever it is?
Dick and Ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get why you would associate, because I often talk about these things, but no, it wasn't. My mind was on Dick and Balls. There's like KKK guys in this game.
No, those are they?
Well, I just saw a picture and it looked like,
He's going-
supposed to be.
And a skeletal RoboCop man.
They're little sperm guys. I don't think they're KKK members.
Oh, they were sperm guys. Okay. Well,
I don't think these are sperm guys.
Wait, which picture are you looking at? This is the worst
The
one.
one with the KKK guys in it.
Wait, I'm looking. You doing video
It's
or
a
image?
bunch of penises wearing white robes and hoods with torches.
Oh, yeah, those are kind. Okay, yeah. He's an anti-Nazi penis. He goes after the Nazis and the racists.
Oh, does he? I
Yeah.
didn't know.
there should be two private investigators. Like one guy's last name's Dick, the other guy's last name's Balls, and then her law firm like Dick and Balls Incorporated or something. That'd be great.
You will like this game. We are sure of it. It will not be rootkit. Rootkit. Don't worry about Rootkit.
I found Christian Dick. It's a real guy.
Oh,
1883 to 1954 Norwegian sailor.
But lots of hair, and it didn't seem right just to have hair coming out of the hole. And so I thought, well, let's put full-on beard out of there. So that's why I did it. Chavver wants to know, is John on the wrong side of what? History or the...
Yeah, always on the wrong side.
Oh, I know why. It's about whoever joins the video call first. Usually John does, just because he just usually does. But today Bo did. So.
Well, you can say it, because Bo's late all... Oops, sorry. He's late all the time.
I remember playing Burnout Paradise, and there were giant billboards for dildos or whatever. I don't know what they were.
Yep, I remember those too.
Whatever it was.
You're listening to Crash FM. Crash through all the dildo billboards to earn a big boost.
We need Jason Ball and like Daniel Ball, and they're the balls. And then you got Christian Dick. And then so's Dick and Balls Incorporated.
Oh my gosh.
What are we doing?
I'm so glad well, a lot of that is pre-show, so he throws it all together. And
No, it's great. It's great. It's just, we tell people we're a gaming show, and then we get a summary of our show, and it's just,
it'd be a terrible commercial for the show. It'd be a bad ad for the show.
Yeah,
because no one would know what we're doing.
We'd have a lot of people wondering where all the Dick and Balls are.
I came here for the
video game show. What the hell?
Yeah, I came here for the crude genitalia. Where is it? No, we're talking about Xbox. Sorry. Well, all right. There's the end of the show.
I'm banned on Steam. This is my only option.
Well, I see 3 dicks, but the balls were nowhere to be found.
Oh, my Lord. That made me laugh. Well done, Jamie. As always, thanks for doing those. We love them, and keep those coming. You can find him at TMS Mashups on Twitter, by the way. He also does those same things for the morning stream, which we like a lot. And that's going to do it for us. A quick reminder, you can support this show at patreon.com/core show and get great rewards by doing it. Check it out if you haven't. Big thanks to those who do. You guys are awesome. Frogpants.com/core is our website. You can find everything else there, including this email address, talktothecore@gmail.com. That's going to do it for us. For me, for John, for Bo. We'll see you a week from next Wednesday. Bye. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com. Whoops, I'm playing it twice. I don't know why I did that. Hey, we did it. Woo!